I know that times are tough right now, but we're here to help. Today's episode is packed with surprising ways to save money and get the assistance that you need. We're going to cover everything from housing to healthcare and beyond. So let's get started. Before we dive into all the details, though, did you buy essential oils from Young Living between 2017 and 2024? If so, you might be able to pocket up to $20 and an extra $5 Young Living coupon from a recent class action settlement. Head to essentialoilclassaction.com to file your claim. Having your receipts handy can help, but you can still claim up to $5 without any receipts. And while you're thinking about it, don't forget to file your claim for the Walmart weighted grocery settlement and the Panera settlement if you're eligible for those too. It never hurts to check. If you have Medicare and you're living with COPD, you may be eligible for some financial relief from the Healthwell Foundation as well. They just opened a financial assistance program that can provide up to $3,250 for your medication copays or your insurance premiums. You must have a household income that is at or below 500% of the federal poverty level to qualify. That's 5 times the federal poverty level, which is crazy high compared to a lot of programs that we report on. You just need to go to healthwellfoundation.org, and for more information about programs like this, be sure to check out our recent video on how to get help with chronic illnesses. So now let's talk about something that's been weighing on a lot of us, if not all of us. Finding a decent and affordable place to live. I don't think it's ever been harder to do that. The Section 8 housing voucher program is supposed to help, right? But it's a mess. We all know this. Millions of people get stuck on waiting lists forever, and even if they get a voucher, landlords just turn them away left and right. A recent report by Business Insider showed just how bad this is getting. Among other things, they found that only 60% of Section 8 recipients actually find housing through this program. Why? Well, sometimes you only have about 60 days to find a place once you get approved, and that's really tough, especially because many landlords just don't want to deal with the inspections and the paperwork and the headaches that come with Section 8. Advocates say that the solution is simple. Get rid of the inspection requirement and cut down on the red tape so that more landlords are willing to accept those vouchers. It's unclear what, if anything, will be done about this, but I really liked seeing this issue get national attention in these bigger magazines, and I'm hoping that something positive will come from that. In the meantime, I've got some other important housing updates for you today, and some of them are awesome. So let's start off with this. The folks over at HUD, that's the government department in charge of housing, including Section 8, they're trying to make things a little fairer for people who have had previous run-ins with the law. They're proposing new rules to help protect people who are already living in public housing or who are using HUD vouchers from being evicted just because someone in their family got in trouble. Now, these rules won't change things for everyone, just those in public or HUD-supported housing, but this is a big step. Basically, they want to stop the automatic no to someone just because they have a criminal record. Instead, they want to look at each person individually and consider other things like what they've been doing since they got in trouble, right? This way, fewer people will be unfairly kicked out of their homes or denied housing opportunities. Now, this is just a proposal right now. HUD is asking for everyone's opinions on it by June 10th. So after they collect all of these opinions, they'll review the comments, and then they'll make a final decision. So if you have an opinion on this, now is your chance to be heard. You can contact HUD or leave your thoughts at regulations.gov if you have something to say about this change. Now, this next one is for anyone out there who's been dreaming of owning a home, but worried about that down payment. I know a big down payment can be a huge barrier, especially if you're trying to buy a home on a low income. Well, there's a company out there called United Wholesale Mortgage, or UWM, that might have something that can help you out. They've introduced a new special program that has a 0 down payment requirement. That's right, 0. They can help you get up to $15,000 towards your down payment, and then you'll just use that instead of having to pay cash. This money is provided with no interest and no monthly payments. And I know that probably sounds too good to be true, so I'm just going to tell you the catch. The down payment assistance is actually a second loan that will need to be paid back, but not until you refinance or sell your house. So this could be a great way to get your foot in the door of homeownership. Now, of course, there's rules on this, right? Your income needs to be a certain amount, and you'll have to meet other requirements like having a good credit score and being able to afford the mortgage. It's a little complicated too because you can't just apply directly with United Wholesale Mortgage. You have to find a mortgage broker that works with them. You can use mortgagematchup.com to find one though. So if you're interested, go check that out. And now that we've covered the national housing news, let's see how this issue is playing out closer to home. Our team has found some incredible housing updates across several states today. So I'm just going to cover these really quickly, but don't go anywhere because once we're done with the local housing updates, we're going to go back and cover the rest of the nationwide news. It's really hard to figure out how to organize these videos sometimes just because we cover so much information over such a wide area. So I appreciate your patience as we move through this. So for folks in Pasadena, California, this one's for you. If you own your home, but it needs some fixing up, this is what you need to know. The city's got a new program called HELP. That stands for Home Enhancement Loan Program. Basically, it's a loan for up to $100,000 to help you with those repairs. It has zero interest, and you don't have to make payments while you're still living in the house, which is very helpful. Now, of course, there's going to be rules to this. Your income has to be below a certain amount, and you actually have to live in the house that you're fixing up. You can't use this for a second property or anything like that. But if you think you might qualify, this can be a real lifesaver. They're having a virtual workshop on June 5th at 6 p.m. to explain everything. And then the application window will open on June 10th and close on July 12th. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. You can find all of the details on the city's website at cityofpasadena.net/rehabhelp. This is a great opportunity to make your home safer and more comfortable, so please don't miss out on that. And now for some big news that can help our friends in San Diego. If you're 55 years old or older and struggling to pay your rent, this is awesome, and I'm really excited about it. The San Diego County program is expanding, the one that helps you with your rent. It's called a rental subsidy, and it could mean an extra $500 a month going straight to your landlord for the next year and a half. This isn't for everyone, obviously. You have to be a San Diego resident, you have to be age 55 or older, and you have to be struggling to make ends meet. You've got to meet those income requirements. One of their other qualifiers that's a little complicated is right now you have to be spending more than half of your income towards your rent. That's called being rent burdened. But if that sounds like you, it's definitely something to look into. The county is taking applications for this right now, and they're going to gather all those applications and then pick people randomly. It's a bit of a lottery, but hey, you can't win if you don't play, right? So if you're interested, you'll need to email AHHS Senior Program at equitablesolutions.com or call 619-780-3684 for details. And for folks in Fresno, I've got some important news for you also, especially if you're looking for an affordable place to live. The Fresno Housing Authority is opening up their interest lists for some new low-income housing. This means they're going to start taking applications from people who want to live in those places. The homes are all located in either Fresno or Pinedale, so if you're looking for something in those areas, please pay attention, but you have to act fast. The applications opened up this week and they close on June 6th, so you don't have time to wait. So you've got to sign up for an account on the website at fresnohousing.org. It's a little bit of a hassle. There's some hoops you have to jump through there, but it's worth it if you want a shot at these affordable homes. If you're selected, they'll put you on a wait list, and then they'll let you know what you need to do next from there. There's also some hope on the horizon for seniors in San Francisco as well, and I promise not all of our housing updates are focused on California. I just usually go alphabetical through the states. So thousands of low-income seniors and people with disabilities in this area may soon receive rent assistance through a proposed city charter amendment. This amendment would create a housing opportunity fund to help those age 62 or older living in affordable housing. If approved by the board, the amendment will go to voters in November for final approval. Now, there's news happening outside of California as well. In the Macon, Georgia area, there's some hope on the horizon for folks struggling with housing and healthcare. The Central City Apartments and the Phil and Alice Sheridan Health Center are teaming up to offer 82 new apartments. 16 of those will be specifically for people experiencing homelessness, and the rest will be available for low-income residents. And I love what they're doing here because they didn't divide those. They're mixing them all up together so nobody knows who was formerly homeless and everyone will be treated equally. These apartments come with everything you need, a kitchen, living room, bathroom, all that stuff. And the center will also provide healthcare, case management, and education classes to help you get back on your feet, which I think is awesome. Most applicants will have to pay a $25 application fee for that, but there are options for people who can't afford it. The rent will depend on your income, and you'll need to be in good standing with any previous landlords. They said that they won't be accepting people who have a debt to a prior landlord, which I realize can be a challenge. So if you're in the Macon area and that sounds like it could help you, don't hesitate to reach out to the Macon Housing Authority for more information. So now let's head up north to Maine, where the town of Kennebunkport is trying something a little different to address affordable housing. They're holding a housing lottery for a beautiful 2-story home in Heritage Woods. This isn't just any house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath home that could be yours for a very affordable price. There are some requirements, of course. You can't earn more than 120% of the area median income. Area median income, by the way, is usually much higher than the federal poverty level. So there's an important distinction there. You need to be able to get the mortgage and you've got to actually be able to afford the home, but it's a lottery. So if you're interested, you'll need to apply by June 24th and the winner will be announced on June 27th. For more information, you can contact the Kennebunkport Town Hall. So now we're going to head to the Big Apple, where there's some big news for New Yorkers struggling to make their rent as well. For the first time in nearly 15 years, the New York City Housing Authority they're going to finally open up applications for their Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program. And that is a huge deal because it's been like almost 15 years, which is crazy to me. But as we've discussed before, of course, Section 8 is a program that helps low-income families afford their rent. Basically, you'll end up paying about 30% of your income toward the rent in most cases, and then the voucher will cover the rest. At least that's how it's supposed to work. Even though it can be hard to find landlords that accept these vouchers, this is still a great opportunity. To qualify, your household income has to be 50% or less of the area median income. And again, area median income is very different than the federal poverty level. The application window for this is only open for a very short time. It's going to open at midnight on June 3rd, and then it's going to close just before midnight on the evening of Sunday, June 9th. So don't wait around. They're only selecting about 200,000 applications randomly from all the people who apply. You can check your status on the NYCHA self-service portal, and you can apply online at apply.section8.nycha.info. Okay, so now we're going to head out west to Washington State, where a new program is aiming to make homeownership a reality for some longtime residents there. Starting July 1st, the Washington State Housing Finance Commission is launching a down payment assistance program with an interesting twist. It's interest-free from what I read, and the amount that you get will depend on the price of the average modest home price in your area. I'm not entirely sure how they're calculating that. Anyway, some reports say that in a place like King County, you could be looking at an average of $161,000 in assistance, which just seems wild. That is definitely a game changer for sure. Now, this program is specifically for first-time homebuyers with a household income at or below the area median income. And there is another catch. They want to make sure that you or someone in your household has lived in Washington before April 11th, 1968. And they are really focused on helping certain communities that have faced specific economic challenges. So there may be other requirements as well. It wasn't very clearly explained in the material that I was able to find. But if you think you might qualify, this could be your chance to finally own a home in the Evergreen State. So check out the Washington State Housing Finance Commission's website. There should be more details there, and hopefully there will be better explanations rolling out as we get closer to seeing that program launch. Okay. All of that took a lot longer than I expected, and I apologize. So now let's pivot away from housing and talk about something else that is always on our minds, and that's staying healthy and navigating the outrageous cost of healthcare in this country. So a new bill called the Comprehensive Dental Care Reform Act of 2024 has been introduced. I believe it was introduced by Bernie Sanders. If passed, this act will provide dental coverage for seniors, veterans, and low-income families through Medicare, Medicaid, and VA benefits. The state of dental care in America is honestly really bad. Even in areas where Medicaid covers dental care, it's almost impossible to find someone that will take it. So currently, 1 in 5 American seniors, I read, have lost all of their natural teeth, and over 40% of kids have tooth decay by the time they start kindergarten. Many people with dental insurance still can't afford the necessary care, and nearly 70 million adults and 8 million children have no dental insurance at all. These statistics just blow my mind. This new law could save money by reducing emergency room visits for dental issues, which cost over $2 billion a year. They estimate that treating these problems at a dentist proactively could save up to $1.7 billion each year, which really makes me wonder why we haven't done this sooner. But the Comprehensive Dental Reform Act of 2024 is now being considered in the Senate. If you would like to see affordable dental care options expanded, please visit congress.gov, find your senators, and encourage them to support this bill. In the meantime, Tennessee and Delaware are making history by offering free diapers to families through Medicaid. So in Tennessee, families can get up to 100 diapers a month for kids under the age of 2 starting in August. And in Delaware, new parents will be able to get up to 80 diapers a week, plus a pack of wipes for the first few months after their baby is born. This is a huge deal for families who are struggling to make ends meet because diapers are so expensive. And this is also going to help keep those babies healthy and happy. An interesting benefit that they mentioned about this is that parents won't have to miss as much work or school because they can't afford diapers, because apparently there's been a big problem where child care providers require parents to bring in diapers, and if they can't afford it, their child can't go to child care, which then causes other issues. So glad to see that happening. And in Tennessee as well, they're also raising the income limit for Medicaid, it looks like. So even more families should be able to qualify for that help. So if you're in Tennessee and you think you might be eligible, make sure to check out the TennCare website for details on that. And of course, I'll be keeping an eye on this, and I'll let you know if other states follow suit. We did do a video recently about other Medicaid benefits, and there was some over-the-counter perks that could help you buy diapers, but this is a separate benefit than that. So like I said, I'll be watching that and I'll keep you updated. So speaking of taking care of our families, let's talk about some local health updates that are happening. And yeah, wow, this video is going to end up a lot longer than usual, I think. I'm so sorry, guys. I still have a lot of ground to cover with you today. Okay, so now let's head up to Alaska, where people applying for Medicaid are facing some long wait times. It seems like the state's Division of Public Assistance is struggling to keep up with demand. There are over 15,000 applications still waiting to be processed. I feel like it's always backlogs in these programs right now. But there is some good news, because even if your application is still pending, you can still get the care you need as long as you've submitted your paperwork. Your coverage will kick in officially on the first day of the month you applied in. So if you're waiting for that to come through and you need medical care, don't be afraid to go get it. And things are looking up too. The folks in charge are working hard to catch up. They're putting in overtime. They're bringing in new staff to help. And they're even automating some of the process to try to speed that along. So if you're in Alaska and you've applied for Medicaid, please hang in there. Help is on the way. And don't forget that you can still access the care that you need even while you're waiting for that application to be approved. So now let's go over to Washington State, because there's some interesting news about their Medicaid program as well. Starting June 20th at 8 a.m., Washington will be accepting applications for a new program called the Apple Health Expansion. Now, this is a big deal because it means that even if you're an adult who doesn't have immigration papers, you might be eligible for health insurance that's similar to Medicaid. So you can mark your calendars for that. It's June 20th, and if you or someone you know could use that help, make sure to apply as soon as you can. If you're eligible, you should be covered as early as July 1st, I believe that I read. Now, if you're in Jefferson County, Alabama, and you've been putting off getting a colonoscopy, I know it's not the most fun thing to talk about, and I apologize, but if you've been putting that off because of the cost, there is a program offering free colonoscopy screenings for people who are low income or uninsured. It's called the Alabama Colorectal Cancer Screening Project, and it's all about catching those cancers early when it's easier to treat. So you can contact the University of Alabama for details. I believe it was 2 professors there that got the grant to run this program, so they should be able to hook you up with more details. Okay, so that's it for healthcare. Now we're going to move on to some other topics. A lot of states are stepping up and trying to implement alternatives to the ACP program because it's winding down and they're worried about people losing internet access. I know I've talked to you about this before, but there is a new one. Pennsylvania is the latest state to join in on this. Representative Powell there has introduced a promising new bill that would provide a $30 a month internet subsidy to eligible low-income families and households with children. Sounds familiar, right? Now, I know many of you are curious about these low-cost internet options I've highlighted recently in other states like New York. And I've gotten a couple of comments about this, so I really want to address this. I heard at least from one person that they reached out and nobody had any idea what they were talking about. That happens to me all of the time. So you need to remember, I often report on these programs as soon as they're announced. But it often takes a while for them to roll out fully and for that news to make it down the chain from the decision makers to the companies that actually, or the government programs to structure it, and then the ISPs who have to implement it until it makes it all the way down to the people who actually answer the phones. So if you contact your state government or your local ISP and the representative isn't aware of the program yet, please don't be discouraged. Check back in a few weeks. I've been running low-income relief for over a decade now, and this happens to me all the time because I usually find out about it shortly after the decision makers have made a decision, and those frontline staff that answer the phones often don't know about it. I usually leave my name and number and get a call back about a week later, and they're like, wow, that really was a thing. Here's all the details, and it's really annoying, and I'm sorry if that's happening to you. Just remember to be persistent. They'll eventually get you the information you need. Sometimes you just have to wait a little bit and check back in. So the bottom line is this: if you're struggling to afford internet access, please don't give up. Visit lowincomerelief.com/internet for options. The options on that list are well established and you won't have to worry about people not knowing what you're talking about. But if you keep watching our videos, just know that I'm announcing these things as they're happening, and you might need to be a little persistent to be able to follow up on those newer programs that are being rolled out. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm kind of running out of steam here. So speaking of following up on things, I had a fantastic chat this week with the awesome people at Double Up Food Bucks, Mississippi. They told me that many of you have been visiting their markets and mentioning our service. So thank you so much for spreading the word about low-income relief. It really makes a difference, and I'm so glad that so many of you have been able to connect with that opportunity to get more food as a result of our videos. I think that that's fabulous. And speaking of Double Up Food Bucks, we do have some exciting news on that front as well. I've found 2 more providers that are now doubling benefits, and those are the Wilmington Farmers Market in North Carolina and the Harvest Farmers Market in Salina, Kansas. So be sure to check them out if they're near you. They should be able to double your SNAP benefits on fresh fruits and veggies, which is a win-win for your health and your wallet. And speaking of free food, we found some other ways for you to get free food this week as well. In Missouri, the Mid-America Regional Council has set up a new meal program for seniors at the Parkville Living Center. You can enjoy a hot meal at noon on Mondays and Wednesdays. If you're over the age of 60 or an adult with a disability, you can get the meal for free. Anyone that comes with you will have to pay $5.75 for that meal. Reservations are required in advance, so make sure that you call that organization ahead of time. For low-income seniors in New Mexico, we've got some great news for you as well. You can now access free groceries at several locations in Bernalillo County, including the Bernalillo County Extension Services building. If you're over age 50 and you meet the income requirements, you can receive fresh produce, non-perishable goods, toiletries, and even pet food in some cases, which is really nice. You can get those freebies from the Bernalillo County Cooperative Extension Services building on the second Wednesday of each month. You can also visit the South Valley Multipurpose Senior Center on the second Friday of each month. And it appears that there's also distributions at the Rio Bravo Senior Center, but I didn't see the dates on those, so that might be something that you'll need to verify. For more information on this or to confirm your eligibility, you can call 505-884-3881. This is a fantastic opportunity to stretch your food budget and make sure that you have access to those essential supplies, so please don't miss out on that. And in Wisconsin, we have some really important news regarding your food pantries as well. As of right now, Wisconsin food pantries that participate in the Emergency Food Assistance Program can choose whether or not to ask for ID and address verification. Starting in October, those pantries will not be allowed to request that information at all. This is a huge change for the 265 state-funded food banks that rely on the TFAP program to provide essential food items like milk, eggs, meat, and fresh produce. Previously, those pantries were required to check IDs and verify addresses, which a lot of people were arguing created unnecessary barriers for people who need help. So the Wisconsin Department of Health Services announced this change and emphasized that their goal is just to make it easier for you to get the food assistance that you need. By removing these requirements, they're hoping that everyone will be able to get in there and get what they need and not have to jump through as many hoops, which I really appreciate because a lot of these programs have an insane number of hoops you have to jump through. So it's nice to see them simplifying that. Now, we also have some updates on utilities and free air conditioners. I know I talked to you about this, I think, on Thursday, so I'm not going to go over it in a ton of depth. But these ones are new. If you are in Nebraska, LIHEAP Cooling Assistance is now available to help you beat the summer heat. To qualify, your household must include someone who is either over the age of 70 years old, under the age of 6, or has a severe illness that can be aggravated by high heat. If you might be eligible, you can contact the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services to apply. Meanwhile, in North Carolina, the WAMY Community Action is offering free weatherization assistance to low-income families in, I'm going to butcher all these names, Watauga, Avery, Mitchell, and Yancey counties. This program can help make your home more energy efficient, saving you money on your utility bills. To learn more and apply, visit wamycommunityaction.org or call 828-264-2421. Okay, so now let's shift gears and talk about something else that's a major challenge for a lot of families out there, finding affordable, reliable childcare. As you know, childcare can be a real burden for working families. It's often too expensive, hard to find, and even if you do find a place, it can be tough. I'm going to sneeze. Sorry about that. Usually my videos are short enough I don't have to worry about this sort of thing. Okay, anyway, childcare can be difficult, right? So the pandemic brought some temporary relief with the government stepping in to help. The federal government poured in quite a bit of money into that, from what I understand. But that help is, of course, starting to run out, as a lot of the pandemic relief is. And so now each state is scrambling to come up with solutions to fill in that gap. So the good news is, though, that many states are taking action on this. We're seeing a lot of free preschool and early education programs popping up, which is fantastic for kids and families. And some states are making childcare more affordable and even free in some cases. So in New Mexico, for example, they've made childcare free for almost all families by using money from oil and gas leases on state land. And in Washington, they're using a tax on financial investments to help fund childcare there. Even Kentucky is getting in on this with a program to help lower childcare costs for parents who work in childcare. So while the childcare situation is still tough, it's encouraging to see states finding creative ways to support families. We will continue to keep an eye on this issue, and as more states jump on board with new solutions, we will definitely inform you of those. Okay. I know that we have gone way beyond our usual time today, and I just keep talking. But we do have more local updates to wrap up with. So, families in Stark County, Ohio, should know that the YMCA of Central Stark County is offering free summer programs to low-income families. If your household income is at or below 200% of the federal poverty level, and you have K-12 students, and this, from what I understand, this includes non-custodial parents as well. Your children can participate at no cost in these summer programs. You can choose from summer camps, sports, and more at any YMCA branch in the area or at Camp Tippecanoe. You need to register at your local YMCA and complete the TANF self-attestation form to get started. You can visit ymcastark.org for full details and a list of programs. So this is an awesome awesome opportunity that you don't want to miss. Out in Pennsylvania, Allegheny County just announced a new program called Allegheny Go. Starting June 3rd, SNAP recipients can use the Ready to Ride app to purchase discounted fares on public transportation. This includes a 31-day pass for just $48, which is half the regular price. If you don't have a smartphone, don't worry. They are planning to roll out a new smart card in January, which will extend these discounts to everyone, whether or not they have a phone to do that on. So for more information about that, you can visit Allegheny County's website. We do have some bad news for Vermont, though. Lawmakers have decided not to move forward with the baby bonds plan that would have created investment accounts for babies born into low-income families. The plan was originally to deposit $3,200 into accounts for the roughly 2,000 babies born every year under the Medicaid program. These baby bonds would have grown to like 11,000 something by the time the child turned 18, which was supposed to help them buy a house or invest in a local business. But the state couldn't find the funding for that, so it doesn't look like that's going to move forward doesn't look like that's going to move forward after all, and that's definitely very disappointing. Out in Loudoun County, Virginia, they are considering a new program to help low-income families. It looks like this would be some sort of guaranteed income program. They're thinking about giving monthly payments to people earning less than 30% of the area's average income. The exact amount hasn't been decided yet, but the proposal is moving forward. And if it is fully approved, it could be implemented as early as September. We'll be watching and we'll see what happens with that. In Snohomish County, Washington, Aaron's Valley Eye Works is offering free diabetic eye exams for those with low incomes. This is a fantastic opportunity for those in need of this important health service. If you're interested in this program or other health services for low-income individuals, you can check out Project Access Northwest online or give them a call at 206-788-4204. Now, that is all the updates that I have for you today, but I really appreciate you taking the time to watch our videos, especially this one, because it ended up being so long. Please go check out our other recent video about how to get financial help with chronic illnesses or all the amazing perks you can get from Medicaid. We've covered a lot of helpful content. And then, of course, you can pop over to email.lowincomerelief.com to sign up for our email list so that you can get even more helpful programs like this sent straight to your email inbox. I'll see you there.